The elevator doors closed like a guillotine. Glass walls, night bleeding into the city. My reflection fractured in chrome. I could taste copper. Someone laughed behind me, too bright, too rehearsed, and the sound crawled up my spine. A folder slid across the marble table before I even sat down. "Just sign," my sister said. She didn't look at me. She never did when she was lying. I felt it then, the old familiar pressure, family pressing down the way they always did. I didn't open the folder. I didn't need to, because I knew contracts when I smelled them, and I knew traps when they smiled. I had always been the quiet one, the successful one, the one they called reliable when they meant useful. I learned early that love in my family came with invoices and expectations typed in small print. My sister, golden, adored, endlessly indulged, was getting married. An 8,500 yen wedding, imported flowers, a rooftop orchestra, the kind of event that demanded sacrifice, just not from her. They came to me like they always had, soft first, smiling, nostalgic. "Remember when you were kids? Remember how much we did for you?" I remembered everything. I remembered being 12, told my college fund was reallocated. I remembered being 23, asked to consign a loan that mysteriously defaulted. I remembered learning how to say yes without opening my mouth. This time, I said no. The silence after that was surgical. The invitation arrived 3 days later. Penthouse dinner, just family. Gold lettering, handwritten note, a heart drawn over the I in my name. I knew better. I went anyway, because saying no had taught me something else, how dangerous they became when control slipped. The penthouse smelled like money and citrus cleaner. Candles burned low, wine breezed in crystal decanters. Everyone was already there, parents, cousins, even my aunt, who only showed up when there was blood in the water. And the contract, 37 pages, asset transfer, non-disclosure, liquidated damages clauses that could bury me alive. "Sign," my father said, not unkindly, worse, casually. My sister finally met my eyes. Then her smile was razor thin. "Sign this or I'll ruin you," she whispered. "I have everything." I believed her. The first red flag had been weeks earlier. My bank app freezing, a client asking why I was being sued, an anonymous email containing screenshots of private messages, edited, weaponized. I told myself it was coincidence, stress, wedding chaos. I told myself lies. At dinner, my mother reached for my hand. Her nails were perfect. Her grip was iron. "This is for the family," she said. "Don't be selfish." That word, selfish, the one they use whenever I chose oxygen over drowning. My sister slid a pen toward me. Last chance. I looked at the pen, then at the folder, then at her, and finally I smiled. "Meet my husband," I said. The room stilled. He stepped forward from the shadows near the window, where the city pulsed like a living thing beneath him. Calm, you impressed, eyes like locked doors. They hadn't known about him. That was my first victory. He placed a tablet on the table, didn't speak. The screen lit up. Bank records, IP addresses, email headers, a timeline. My sister's face drained color. My father's jaw clenched. My mother's hand fell from mine. What my husband showed them didn't scream. It whispered, and it whispered truth. I had suspected something was wrong the night my credit score dropped 80 points in an hour. I didn't panic. I documented. I hired quiet professionals, digital forensic analysts, financial auditors who didn't ask why, only how deep. The deeper we went, the uglier it became. Shell accounts, forged signatures, a Burmer phone registered to my sister's assistant but paid for by my mother's card. Emails drafted on my father's office computer at 2:14 a.m. They weren't just extorting me, they were planning to erase me. Ruined credit, professional discredit, a narrative pre-written and ready to deploy the second I refused to comply. It wasn't personal. It was procedural. When I confronted my sister weeks earlier, before the dinner, before the trap, she laughed. "You're paranoid," she said. "You always think you're smarter than us. Dope, gaslighting wrapped in silk." My parents backed her. Of course they did. They always circled wagons around whoever screamed loudest. I left that night shaking, not from fear, from clarity. Back in the penthouse, the tablet advanced slides on its own, wire transfers traced to the wedding planner, false affidavit prepared but not filed, a draft press release titled "Local Heiress Skis." My sister stood. Her chair scraped loudly. "This is illegal," she snapped. "You can't." "Oh, but you can," my husband said, calm, surgical. The word husband landed like a detonator. They didn't know him. They didn't know what he did. They didn't know the reach of his firm, or the favors owed, or the difference between leverage and annihilation. He tapped the screen one last time. "Signatures authenticated," he said. "Evidence escrowed. Notification scheduled." My father sat down heavily. My mother started to cry. My sister looked at me like I'd stabbed her. The plan was never to scream, never to threaten. It was to let gravity do the work. We had already alerted the banks, the firms, the regulatory bodies, who didn't care about weddings or families. The contract on the table, I slid it back to them. "Keep it," I said. "You'll need something to read while you wait." Silence swallowed the room. The city kept breathing. Afterward, there were calls, voicemails, threats that turned into pleas, that turned into silence. My sister's wedding didn't happen. The venue canceled. Vendors vanished. Accounts froze. An investigation bloomed quietly, like mold in the walls. They tried to blame me, tried to spin it, but facts don't bend. My parents stopped speaking to me. I slept better than I had in years. I think about that night sometimes, the way the elevator opened to the lobby, the way my husband took my hand without asking, the way my reflection finally looked whole again. Revenge isn't loud, it's precise. It's knowing when to say no and when to bring receipts. I didn't destroy my family. I simply stepped out of the way while they collapsed under the weight of what they'd built. And for the first time in my life, I walked into the night unafraid, unburdened, free.